I'll torch them out if I have to and re-tap them. It's a little bit humid today here in Havasu. Still got the AC on. I got the door up for a second. Getting the big tow truck inside. So, I got a couple things I want to modify, and I got to go to Utah and help my cousin here in the next day or so. I don't like the way this thing hooks up here, so I'm going to cut these off, and I'm going to move them out here. I'm going to move the license plate and put it up here, and this piece will be permanently on the truck at all times rather than in that receiver hitch. Also had a little problem up here in the front after I got done pulling a car out of the lake the other day. Let me get around you. I realized that, kind of hard to see, but these two bolts right here are missing. Those studs broke off in the axle. The spring perch is just kind of sitting there, so front end's falling out of the truck. It's time to do a little maintenance. I'm also going to install a winch right here. I'm going to put a winch on here down underneath so that I have a front winch, because I've never had a front winch on here, and I actually kind of needed one the other day, so it's time to put one on. Well, we got all the chains out. Yeah, there's a lot of chain in there, a lot more than I need. That jack doesn't work, so it's coming off. I'm going to cut these off and fill them in, clean them up, finish welding these sliders. They're so rotten they never have worked. And then we're going to cut these off, clean that up, and put that directly on there. So what essentially I want is, when this is not in operation, it'll be folded up and have a short chain to actually hook onto it and keep it up out of the way while I use regular hitches. If I'm just doing light towing or something, I don't need the sling. But I've got some things I'm going to do to the sling as well. I'm going to make a soft sling, basically slide straps over this tubing, and then I'm going to put another tube up about here so that it has basically a soft sling for picking up like some of these plastic side-by-sides and stuff like that. So I'm going to clean this all up in here, maybe make another basket, put more basically straps and things like that in here. Obviously I can't leave tow straps on the back of this thing because in Arizona they rot within no time, so I'm going to clean up underneath the seat, and basically there's a compartment under there, and I'm going to put everything under there so it's out of the sun and the weather.
This looks fantastic.
No, I've been working on it all day.
This looks fantastic.
So I got rid of that. We made
Yeah,
that where it ties up. That thing sits up in there so it don't break my lights, hopefully. But yeah, we cleaned the back end up, and
I like it.
we are ready to sort that mess on the floor.
Almost looks professional.
I figure I'll leave like a couple of chains, and then the rest of the straps and stuff can go under the seat, get them out of the sun.
Awesome.
But move the license plate.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's clean back here now. No more mud flaps. Took them off, they were rotten. We'll just push our luck. Catchings before hanging.
That's right.
So yeah, I've almost got 2 holes drilled through this mast here. First thing I need to do is get 2 holes all the way through, and then we'll reverse drill, and then we'll try easy out, and then we'll get the welder, and then the heat, and then because I have holes all the way through, we'll torch it. I'll torch them out if I have to and re-tap them. So baby steps. Hopefully they come out. They look promising, but I don't know. Well, there they are, drilled out in all their glory. That one I didn't get the hole clear through, so it was actually the toughest. But yeah, got new studs coming. We're gonna pull this wedge out now, change the angle on this U-joint, zero up the caster on this thing. That should make it drive a little squirrelier, but it'll be better off-road. But yeah, we'll get that done. We also have a winch coming for the front. Never had a winch on the front of this truck, and I decided to put one on it. The steering's going to get redone as well. Cutting this off and mounting the box to the frame. Then we'll do a crossover steering and get rid of this front to back short link. Be a lot better. I got some work to do under there too. Back in the shop this morning on the tow truck, trying to get things done. Finished up the turbo yesterday. Working on the transfer case, getting ready to change the overdrive and put a doubler in it. Now, I have a hose that runs from here to here that was pretty messed up, and I couldn't really find the fitting I needed for this, so I'm just gonna make one. I'll show you what I got going on here. Went to Tractor Supply and just picked up a small piece of hose. So this is the original hose here. I cut the fitting off the end of it, salvaged what I needed here. And then I'm changing the size of it. And I'm kind of old school. I like to just braze my fittings together. Doesn't bother me a bit. Most people say, oh yeah, that's dangerous to weld fittings together. It's only dangerous if you're not a good welder. So if you got confidence in your welding, you can weld them together all day long. I've been doing it my whole life, never had one fail, so I literally can weld brake lines together. If you use the right kind of brass, you do a good clean weld. It's just as good as silver soldering, which is basically certified for most aircraft use. So it just depends on what it looks like when you're done. And most people don't understand that most fittings are welded anyway. They just don't see it. They're welded internally. All I'm using is a single aught tip and brass rod. I'll go ahead and get a tack on here. Heat down. When you're brazing, you don't need a lot of heat either. It doesn't really have to be red hot. I'm gonna get a tack on there, and then I'm gonna start on this side, and I'll just work my way around. Like that, we got us a custom fitting. Puts me right where I need to be. I don't need 3 swivels to make my hose come out where I want, and it's perfect. That we got us a brazed up fitting. We got our hose in place, winch is back working, ram's back working. We are pretty much done here, except for I want to tie this hook together right here because it always swings over and falls off. That'll keep that from crashing and bashing. I use this for my side pull. Whenever I have to pull something sideways, that hook will actually pull out and the winch can 45 off either direction. It's kind of nice. Shop. Got a few things going on. Working on the old tow truck. Got them big old wheels ripped off. Steering on this truck's always been a nuisance. I put it together because it was what I had. These are all welded. I've got to cut them all apart. I'm actually going to remount the box. We're going to get rid of this bracket right here. We're going to put the box directly to the frame, and then we're going to turn the pitman arm. We're actually going to cross steer it over there. I've got this arm right here. We're going to put that on it. I've also got bronze bushings to go in the top of here. Basically they go down here, but normally these bushings are plastic on a Kingpin Dana 60, and we're going to put bronze in and strengthen it up a little bit. Tighten the front end up on this old girl and see if we can make it drive a little better. I'm also going to drill and tap the box. I'm going to redo it and put new bearings in it. And I'm also going to put a hydraulic ram on the front axle for hydraulic assist. So I'll show you how I do all that. Pretty cool little setup. Alrighty, so here's where we're at. I've got the thing apart. Here's the plastic bushing that came out of it. It's actually broken. You can see the little piece literally broken half. Looks terrible too. Go ahead and get it out of here where you can see it. So normally these plastic bushings have this big spring on there. This thing's covered in grease, and that spring puts pressure on that. So here's the new bushing. The other thing is the key that keeps that from rotating is just plastic. There's a little key on the back side of that, you can see there. And what they do on the bronze, once you put the bronze in here, there's actually a roll pin that goes down in here and actually seals that. And then the way you set the tension is you have this bolt that goes down through from the top, pushes on this, which pushes on top of this and actually applies pressure. So what you do is you set that to so many foot-pounds, lock that nut down, and it's adjustable. Still greasable, still, you know, a high wear item. The bronze is obviously 10 times, maybe 300 times stronger than the plastic, so you know, the thing is pretty much a lifetime heavy-duty setup once you do this bronze upper Kingpin replacement. So we're going to get this side done. This side just gets a cap. The other side's getting the cross steer arm, and then this will get turned and moved, and we'll build a drag link and probably put a track bar in it as well and make this old girl drive a little better. Moving on to this side, putting the high steer arm in. I'm kind of a cheapskate, so I like to make my 5-bolt knuckle. Normally they're 4 up here. This is the 5th bolt out here. It gives you more support. So what I do, I cut a piece of 1/2-inch steel, drill a hole in it. I'm going to center this. We're going to tack it on real good. Then we'll weld it down the top side. We'll surface it. Then weld the underneath. Then I'll put it all back together. We'll drop the 5th bolt in and we'll weld that bolt in. That bolt will stay. It's like a stud. Got it made right here. It just slides down in. and then I weld it, and that gives me my 5th bolt, and that basically hooks up on there. Pretty cool setup. We'll get that welded. Moving forward on the truck, got the steering box off. You have to weld a couple of these holes up because they're larger, they're like this size, and I'm going to put a brace on underneath. But now the steering box, you get rid of the bracket and it will bolt directly to the frame. That's the 2-wheel drive mounting location. 4-wheel drive, they use this hermaphrodite freaking adapter bracket, and these things are notorious for breaking. They only have 3 large bolts to the frame, and it's just a really bad idea. Anyway, got the kingpins solid, got the high steer arm on, got the little 50 bolt tab welded on, and we're gonna have a drag link go right over to the steering box, and it'll be cross steered. So I got the steering box going on here. This is aluminum, so I welded an aluminum fitting to it, drilled a hole in it. That still had oil in it while I welded it, so it went nicely. And then on top, I'm putting new bearings in. So I just went ahead and took this out. It's pretty simple to just slide this out. And drilled and tapped, that'll be my other fitting. So one of these will be left turn, one of them will be right turn. And I've got a seal kit coming. We're going to put all new seals in it, and should be rocking and rolling. Here's a little update on the boat. So this was the original propeller that I used to run back in the day. About 75, 80 with this prop. I had a new prop made. I went a little bit larger in diameter and 2 more inches of pitch. So that's the propeller that should put me in the triple digits. So we're gonna go check the mailbox and see if our parts are here for the steering box and put that together. Good morning, it's another new day. Don't seem like I'm getting very much done, but I did get the steering box back on yesterday, so that felt good. Pitman arm made, drag links in, now we're putting a track bar in. So essentially this track bar is going to tie that leaf spring perch into the frame on this side. I'm using a broom handle here for mock-up, and I'm probably not going to be able to hold the camera, so I'm going to have to set it down. I've got these brackets cut, and I'm just trying to figure out my angle. Ideally, you want your track bar to be about the same length and angle as your drag link, that way you don't get bump steer. So I'm working on putting this in here right now. Got a block on the other side holding it up. I get these brackets tacked up here, and we're just going to use a couple of heim joints. Pretty simple, tube across, and that should keep the front end from warbling back and forth when I steer. This is the brackets for the other side, and I haven't decided what height I want them. They're going to be what determines the angle of that track bar. I've got the length figured out, so it'll be pretty close to the same length as the drag length. So I've got to run to Yucca and punch some holes in this to get it out to 5/8. The reason I'm punching them is because I don't want to lose the material around here. I want the strength. So we're going to punch them back this way and make them larger. So stay tuned, I get some cool stuff we'll go see in Yucca. We're going to unload this saw, put it in Williams Landscape. It's a pretty cool old saw. Check this thing out. It had a Model A engine right here. This is a Cat idler bearing. Little Model A engine. But yeah, check this out. It's a Model A truck right here, landscaped in. There's a bunch of old junk here. A tree growing up through that thing. This little tractor right here's got a Model A engine in it. Pretty cool. And there's way more up front. William put this wall up. It looks like a building. When you come up and look at it, it looks just like a building from the front. It's kind of cool. Got a door on it and everything. Got oil cans in the window. They're just little shadow box deals. Kind of cool. Oh, there's actually fish in the old pond. Would you look at that? Yeah. What's going on in there? Those fish are actually surviving in your pond, huh?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
PetSmart doesn't like it. See, I've been dumping these buckets with these 10-cent fish in my pond. They're like,
They do? They get all mad at you? Oh, that's funny. It's
well,
fish.
let's put them in a little tank. Just, tiny house.
Yeah. We don't want to put them in a pond. So we're here at William's little gas station. So William got this building. How long ago did you get this thing, Will? When did we move this thing?
6-7 years ago, probably.
Has it been that long? So this was like down by the old post office depot. And there's rumors that it was all kinds of things, but they were going to tear it down and throw it away. And William decided to get a hold of it, and we figured out some stupid plan to move it. It was pretty sketchy, but we towed it through town and brought it up here and set it up. Kind of a cool old gas station. It's got all old antique hardware. It's got hardwood floors in it. All shake cedar. Pretty nice. Well, we're all done with the front. Show you that in a minute. Show you what I got going on here. Got the rear axle pulled apart. Turns out it's never been serviced ever. It had a lot of metal in it, but I think it was all metal from manufacturing. Drill shavings and whatnot. Wheel bearings have never been apart. And we're getting ready to replace that. But yeah, here's the front end. So there's our track bar. Get some flashlight here. Get some light on the subject. Let's put some light on the subject. There we go. Now you can see. So yeah, there's the track bar bracket from the frame. Crossover steering, ported for hydraulic assist. And comes over here and ties into the perch there. Runs roughly the same angle. And hopefully bump steer is the minimum. We're gonna put new engine mounts in. They're looking pretty ragged. Kind of see that one's all chewed up. And we're gonna turn that hydraulic pressure up on that power steering pump. It'll probably be another episode, but stay tuned for that. I'll show you how to do that. It's pretty simple. It's not what you think it is. It turns up differently than you think. But yeah, here's the underside of old tow mater. 205 transfer case, nothing special. Of course, you gotta have an air horn. That's my spare battery. Has two batteries, one under the hood and one in the rear. Auxiliary cooling fan for the transmission, because it is an automatic. Power brake booster underneath. Original brake pedals. It's nothing special. It's just a good old reliable truck. Thanks for watching.